I'm very happy to be able to welcome to the podcast today not only Jack Moody, who's stepping into the co-host seat again, but obviously Kate Bevilacqua and Guy Crawford we've invited onto the show to have a bit of chat and a bit of a catch-up. We're also going to, if this goes well and Guy doesn't cock things up or Jack doesn't do anything embarrassing, I can rely on Kate. I know that she's going to be she's going to be well researched and ready to go. But we will put this up on YouTube as well if we don't have to do too many edits and we don't have to put too many explicit marks on the recording. But firstly, Tex, good to have you back. We'll hear from you shortly. Kate and Guy, when did we last catch up? Kate, when was it last time we see you?
I think it was in January. We were in Tauranga for the half.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Hold on. I'm going to move straight across to Guy then. Okay, Guy. Tauranga half, Lone Market half, was the attempt to retain the pro license for another year. Okay. Were you successful, and is there anyone else on this podcast that you're blaming for the lack of success? So tell us firstly, what did you have to achieve at Tauranga, and did you do it?
So I think for the New Zealand pro license now, they're getting a little bit stricter, giving you some guidelines, because prior we could just go into a Cocoa Pops box and pull one out and be like, yeah, I got my license. So now you've got a few rules and regulations around that, and it's a 10% rule. And I was like, 10%, like, that's pretty achievable. And then so I came out of the water with this guy, what's his name, Jack Moody, and what's that?
I was ahead, actually, if you remember. About 30 seconds. Just if we want to re-edit
if we
that.
want the truth. Want the truth.
Okay.
So I was on his feet about a minute down coming out of the water.
I will say we left transition together, so I'm just saying maybe we need to work on a few things outside of swim, bike, run. So we left transition together, and I proceeded to ride away from him. I was like, that's okay, I'm in a good spot. Onto the run, and then I realised Jack was a little bit down on the lead, and he was hauling. I was like, slow down. And that's on the first lap. I was like, well, I can't, he's not in the lead yet. But then when I saw him, he was about to catch the lead. I was like, slow down. And I was just, and I don't even know if I wanted to keep my pro license, but I wanted the option. So I'm just full throttle around the base of the mount thinking, you Jack, why are you going to do this to me? Quads are crippling, my spine's like compressing. But I got there in the end, actually, team. So I was about 8% down on Jack, which
okay.
But
right.
Even the high performance manager was like, "Oh, we might have to do some math on that." I was like, "Shut up."
I can actually add to that as well. You messaged me afterwards and then thought it was the shoe option. That was what let you down, nothing else. You were like, "Oh, so what shoes do I need to be able to run like you?" And as if that would fix the gap.
Take me from 124 to 110.
Yeah. I can find the message. It's on my phone.
Now, at this point in the career, your esteemed partner, who has recently announced her retirement, which was the end of last year?
Yes, December last year, yeah.
Okay. Inducted into the Western Australia Women's Sports Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Is that all you can give me? None of us have been inducted into any Hall of Fame. That's got to be a proud moment, though.
It was a very proud moment. Actually, we were, was supposed to be in Ironman for Ironman New Zealand, working the tour for Triathlon. But I came back a few days early and left Guy there in control, there was no control. So you saw him, there was no control. But I had to come back, which was worth it. It was totally worth it. But all I remember after the half in January when Guy retained his pro license was that he was just going to keep messaging Jack and Bevan to find out what training Jack was doing. What training are you doing, Jack? What's on this weekend? What's your taper look like?
He came. He actually came for the taper session.
He did.
Yeah,
Yes.
It nearly killed him.
It was hill reps going up the quarry in the Waitax here in Auckland, wasn't it?
No,
Hill reps?
It was hill reps into long TTs. And
That's right.
Yeah.
In race week?
Week before. Yeah.
That's right. But that could have been it, though, Guy.
Oh, it was like a near-death experience. Like usually you cramp when you're running and you're like really depleted, but because we're doing these hills and Perth's like dead flat and guilty as charged, haven't done enough hills, but I was going over the hills at max, like just because he was giving me head starts, just at full throttle and then rolling onto his wheel. And he's such a slight human being. I was still over 300 on the wheel, just thinking, my life's bad. Hanging on by a thread.
Let's go back to Korea. Let's go back to you didn't mind hanging on by a thread to the back wheel for a long period of time over the full distance. What's a couple of hills?
That was 30 metres at least. I was behind the
We were all there. Now, Kate, it is summer over there at the moment. So what's happening in the world of GK endurance and the coaching side of things? You guys are always busy. I see some of your posts from your guys' group sessions, and it looks like there's almost enough people to form a race. I mean, things must be going pretty well over there.
Well, we run a weekly bike session on a Thursday morning, a bike interval session. That's combined with one of the local triathlon clubs.
Yeah.
And then we do racing weekends. So actually we're less than 2 weeks out of our final race of the season here in WA. That would be the Busso 100.
Yep.
A massive weekend. It's a big celebration. It's 25 years of the Bustleton event next weekend. So everyone's going down and doing something that weekend.
Yep.
So it's it's a busy time, but it does slow down. I say it has a little bit of a lull after that. Guy doesn't think it does, but I feel like there is a little bit of downtime in May.
From a coaching perspective, but you guys are just about to pack your bags and go off to Singapore. Guy's been given some shakeout run role for the T100, which is obviously them trying to control how much contact he has with the people over there. But you worked the Gold Coast event, and you've done a couple of the events in the Middle of the East for it's Elevate. Is that the company that you're doing the work for?
Yes, it is. Yep. So I'm involved on deck. So I do, commentary on usually over the 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, the age group racing, some of the pro racing. Working with Greg has been fantastic. Like he's just so easy to work with and learn so much from all of his years and years of experience. So I found that I feel like over time it's something I've always enjoyed it, but being able to get better at it depending on, who you're working with and the environment you're in.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you've come on board with a couple of podcasting professionals like me and Tex, and then got your husband involved. It's like it doesn't get any bigger or better than this. Now, do you guys know what he's done to himself in recent last couple of weeks? Do you know that he dislocated his shoulder?
Oh, yeah, I hadn't told you, Guy. I'm sorry. I had a bit of an off on my honeymoon and blew my shoulder out. Though I'm questioning if it's dislocated because I'm quite keen to get swimming. So it does make a lot of popping and cracking every time I rotate.
You've had an ultrasound and you've consulted with 2 physios,
and an X-ray. Yeah.
But nobody knows their body better than
I do.
Yes, then you, yeah. So at this point, you're listening to their advice, or you're cracking on with a bit of one-arm swimming.
I've been doing a lot of one-arm swimming, which is not too dissimilar to my normal swimming, which is odd. I was actually very pleasantly surprised how fast I was going with the one-arm swimming, and then I thought this is probably not a great flattery of my own normal two-arm swimming, but I'm going to return to squad tomorrow with the kids and do the warm-up. And hopefully that's the sort of segue back into it. Like the mobility's back. Yes, Guy, you got a question?
Yeah, I think you should this is the best way to test it. You get on the blocks and you get the coach to go, and you just rip into 100 fly as hard as you can go.
100 fly?
I couldn't even do fly anyway. So
you can wear fins. And you'll find out. You'll find out halfway through that 100 fly if it's good or bad.
Mate, it's not the fins. It's not the fins holding you back from doing fly.
Well, I actually managed to push out of the water today. I got out of the pool without having to use the ladder. So I think that's kind of where we're at.
He got out of the pool without using the disability chair. That's
Yeah.
that's
But it was progress, so I'll take it. And I've got ages before I do a triathlon, so lots of other training.
Was
Guy,
that?
could you
Yeah.
tell me that I think it will go back to career again. After the race, you mentioned something about Jack to me and his swimming. I think you were a little bit surprised because you attempted to possibly think about swimming on his feet at the first part of that race, and then you came out of the water and you said something to me about what was happening with his feet.
Did I say his feet? I was like, man, that guy swims like you've got a cat and you've thrown it in a fast flowing river.
Yeah. Tough
So,
conditions
so
that
would
day,
it not
though.
surprise you
Very
at
tough.
all if he'd turned around to you and said that my new swimming technique is going to be one-armed going forward?
I'll be like, oh, you know what? Cat in a river, one arm. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're probably progressing quite well.
You'll
And
be at the
then-
next race attempting to retain your pro license, or if he does beat you out of the water as a one-armed swimmer, that's when you will fully retire and join your
I
better
actually
half.
lost to a one-arm swimmer once in a race. When I did Xterra, when my first race at Maui, he was a professional amputee, and he beat me. I don't know if I should admit that on air, but look how far we've come.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, right. On
Yeah.
that note,
Moving
Kate,
on.
moving right along. Okay, so things are good in your world. It's awesome to have you on the podcast. Thank you for taking the invite and coming on. Massive weekend of racing over Europe and North America, South Africa as well. Couple of half Ironmans. Sam Laidlow finally gets back on a start list after, I think, 7 months. I'd like to race as often as he does and earn as much money as he does, which is maybe once or twice a year, and obviously paid massive money by his sponsors because he certainly doesn't need the prize money at the moment. But looking at his result, it was pretty impressive. We'll talk about the men's before we talk about the women's. His bike is just phenomenal. He wasn't in Texas. From a biking perspective, I don't know how, Tex, do you know how hilly the course was? Because he rode 155 on his own. I think he made 3 minutes on most of the guys out of the water after the first 30 or 40 Ks. He was on a tear.
Yeah, I don't know how hilly it is there, but I just know, that there was 3 minutes by about the 60k marker, and then 5 minutes, I think, by the end. And not slouches on the bikes. Like, you've got guys in there that have done T100 races, your Will Drapers, Jack Hutchins. There was, quality athletes, and you're in Europe, so it's going to be strong. Like, most of these guys can ride a bike or can swim. Simon Vian as well, another solid name. Like, there's quality athletes that he's just riding away from and then backing it up on the run. It was pretty impressive, actually.
His run still is a work in progress. He pulled out of, was it the Barcelona Marathon? Was that what he was meant to be doing?
I think it was Barcelona. He'd come out. Yeah, there was a lot of chitter chatter about what he was going to do, and he was going to throw his name in the hat, and then he pulled pin on it, I'm sure. Or it didn't. Yeah. So
I think only after about 10 or 15 Ks into it as well. He's a name that I think everyone's going to be still worried about at the major races with his swim bike prowess, but 110 is not super, super fast considering there are a number of guys that went a lot lower than that. And when you look over to what they did in Texas, you're going to be having to run quicker than 110 at a half Ironman to be able to mix it with those guys that are running down in the 230s. Guy, I'm sorry I'm not going to throw it to you to chat about run times just for this, but what do you reckon about Tex? What do you think about his run performance?
Yeah, I mean, like 110's quality, but you look at it across the board, and I think there was some 107s in there by more than one athlete. And I don't know, without doing a dirty Strava stalk or anything, if it was short or just pancake flat or the likes. But for an athlete like Sam to be 3 minutes off the pace of the pointy end of the running, like, you're right, when it comes to these big championship races now, it's not hard to believe, not in Kona per se, but some of these other Ironman races, it's not far before we're sort of splitting that first half marathon in 1:12. You know,
Yeah.
he's only going. I don't look what it was in Texas, but I bet you it was a 1:13, 1:14 for the first half. You know,
Yeah.
if you look for the fade. So it doesn't give you much wiggle room if you're doing a 1:10 for the half. So
Yeah. What do you think about that, Guy?
Right, back to me. Well, Sam is full solo. Even though we've got like a 20-meter rule, he has got to be spending pennies. That FT, his power has to be a bit higher. I'm not sure if the actual, besides looking at the results, actual race dynamic and how that exactly unfolded, but those guys have got to have, some of them at least, worked off each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas he's just pushing watts the whole time on the pedals. So that's got to pay a penalty. And if he wants to keep winning at the big races, he probably does need a gap. But 110 versus 107, if he just sat in, say, and he pushed like 20% less power, and he said, what could he run? He'd probably be close. He'd probably be ballpark, right? Like maybe 108.30. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Tex is probably going to say no. I just don't know what's happening. I don't know how he made his run progression the first instance. He doesn't look the most natural runner as such, and I just don't think that it's in his game plan to go and sit in with other people. I think the only way he can win these races is to go off the front. But it is good to see him back. We just want to see him at some of these championship races. Like, he's not chasing the Pro Series. He's back doing Challenge Road. You guys are going to be back traveling at Challenge Road. So you'll be on the ground to get interviews with him afterwards. Are you guaranteeing me that now that you're...
We can work on it. We can find a way, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, all right. But he'll be back there at that race, which was hilarious last year when he thought he was leading it the entire way and Jonas Schomburg was off the front. But it is good to see him back running. Katia Shah on the female side had a pretty comfortable victory, or relatively comfortable, but Sophie Caldwell, as people would have known her from her short course career, now Sophie Evans, her husband's a decent runner, though, isn't he, Tex?
Yeah,
just a little bit.
He's very quality. Yeah, big fan, actually. Well, fanboy moment for Tom Evans.
Do you guys know Sophie at all in any way? Have you met her personally?
No, haven't met her personally, but definitely followed her career and her trying to get to the Olympics, and then I follow Tom as well. So he's an exceptional athlete, great to watch, and how they make things work together and compete at the highest level. With a young baby now, it was awesome to see her back racing, but she raced so well for her first 70.3. Yeah.
Do we know if she's going to stick with a bit of the middle distance? I saw that she had a decent short course result recently as well. So I'm wondering whether she's just trying to mix and match a little bit at the moment and looking towards future years when the T100 finally comes under the WTCS banner. I always thought that she would transfer into a good middle distance racer. What do you reckon, Kate?
Yeah, well, she did take her spot to 70.3 Worlds. She said, yes. So I'm assuming that long course is something that she's, going to spend more time in doing. But also, a lot of them are dabbling in both right now. Like, we heard, bring it up now, but we heard Taylor say, in 27 days, she's got Yokohama. She's going back to short course. So I think there's a lot of them that may, between the half and short course, are going to dabble in both to try and get slots to Olympics and things like that right now.
Do you know, that has just reminded me. Didn't you win a short course race just recently, Guy?
Oh, yeah, back onto Guy. Actually, I came second because so that's a bit of a Debbie Downer, isn't it? I came second because one of the young world triathlon kids ran me down, but he had to run 3-minute Ks to do it, so I didn't feel too bad.
Was it a 1:08.30? Was it? Or...
For 5Ks.
For 5Ks. What shoes was he wearing? Do you think it was the shoes?
It probably was the shoes. I mean,
Yeah,
I think he must have been in Essex, the
sandals, wasn't
non-race.
it?
Yeah, he was in his school shoes. Yeah.
Didn't even have a toe plug. Just
Look, but let's be honest, his dad was lovely and came up to you after and said, "Man, you race well for an old man."
he did, because we're the same age.
But I mean, the reason that I thought of you then is we were talking about those athletes that are mixing short course racing with middle distance professional athletes.
Obviously.
So
Hybrid.
Sophie Evans, yourself, there's a few others that we could name that just sort of roll off the tongue. But yeah, look, you do go and blast out. You said to me once, I'm sure you said this, Guy, that you actually sprint distance is your favourite distance.
Oh, easy. It's like an hour of pain and then you're done. I don't even know why I keep turning up to Ironmans. I'm just like awful at them, and they're just
Jack and I have asked the same question.
Yeah.
the best bit is riding with Jack, but I can't do that anymore. He's too fast.
When your marathon's slower than your bike time, eh? You might as well do it in a sprint distance and not a full Ironman.
Yeah, true. 30 minutes, 31 minutes.
Yeah,
Somewhat
it's a much shorter swim. Okay, well, let's talk about Ironman then. Have you got an Ironman lined up in your future? And how long is it before, Kate, you can, and would you do another Ironman as an age grouper?
So many questions. Yes, I totally will, and I do want to. I would like to go back to Kona as an age grouper, so that's the plan.
Well, this is why we went to video, because now everyone can see.
Guys counting pennies.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Yep. We'll book that in for sure. But Guy, have you got an Ironman lined up this year or not? What are you going to do?
I'm not too sure. If I don't know what's Jack doing next. I turn up to races that Jack's doing. And and on that, can you forward me his training plan for that race? Because if it's like more than 8 weeks away, I probably need to get started.
One arm swimming.
Well, there is Cairns. Cairns is less than 8 weeks away. Let's do Cairns together.
Okay, let's do that.
We need to talk about this.
Gunsan is back on the menu this year as a half. We could go there.
Yeah, I think that might clash with Europe, but I would totally go back to Gunsan. Yes, half's a way more appropriate.
Yeah, half's a great distance. Yeah, okay. I'll go for training. I'll just let you know that now, and you guys can race because someone has to be there for the logistics side of things. The first race of the weekend, everyone was looking forward to it. Texas, especially on the men's side of things. The number of names there, but there were some spectacular failures as well. Everyone knows who's won, but I want to talk about, I think there was something like 18 DNFs, and some of them some pretty big names as well. There's going to be a few people scratching their head. I think I've yet to see what Sam Long's sort of feeling on the race was. Lionel Sanders' video is going to be fascinating when that comes out. Yellow Gaines, I actually thought that was a bit of a surprise to find that he wasn't prepared enough from a muscular durability standpoint to deal with the running on the hard surface, which Texas is. You guys obviously have been to Texas for that race. It is the run is pretty hard concrete the entire way. But there were a whole host of other people that got off the bike that faded pretty badly and went backwards. This is sort of the new era of Ironman racing, isn't it? If you're going to have to suffer through, what's the value in doing it? Because really getting to Kona is not going to be easy at any of the Pro Series races, and you might have to quickly pivot and find something else to do. That's a bit of a different attitude than what it was in, let's say, your day, Kate, isn't it?
Oh, it's so true. Like, it's just, you can't, there were so many more races to choose from. We didn't have a professional race calendar then. It was just an Ironman calendar, and all of the races had a professional category. So there was a lot more there was a lot more opportunity to earn money, but not as much money that is now available to the sport. But I know listened to the interview, the post interview that they did. I think it was with Rudy, and he was saying that I was just glad I made money. Like his biggest thing was, I was in the money because it's so much time and effort and all that sort of stuff to prepare for a race, and to come away with nothing is a big loss.
Yeah. Well, it shows you where the big sponsorship contracts are at the moment. You guys have still bemoaning K-Swiss days, which is Jesus Christ. I mean, it was 15 years ago or even longer. But they were glory days, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even Rudy von Berg has probably slipped a little bit in the pecking order from a sponsorship perspective from where he might have been a couple of years ago. And it's really only the top few that are making a lot. And then everyone else is really, they certainly need to get that prize money as part of why they're going to these races. But shit, I wouldn't choose a pro Ironman series race to hedge your bets on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same with what's going on with, T100 is fantastic, but is it making the rich richer? Like, can we not have a few more athletes in the event to try and allow more of our top professionals to be making money from the sport rather than, the same ones taking home most of the prize money all the time?
Yeah. Well, I think that T100 is going to be quite interesting next year because there's going to be a shitload more of them and they're not going to be all at the same upper echelon as that top tier. But what kind of prize money is going to be available to winning those? Is it going to be any better or worse than what it is at the moment? And I'll ask Jack this. If you want to live off prize money, it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, it's terrible. I don't understand why so many put their name down for that Pro Series race. Like, it only pays 10 deep, and like some of these guys have had amazing races. Like you look at someone like Matt Hansen, who's 11th, and he's made no money, and he's still come away stoked, with the race, and he's got some Pro Series points. But it's for me, I wouldn't be able to go and do that. It's too expensive to go to Texas and go and do that race for no money. Like, that's a massive hole in the bank account for, one race of the year. You haven't got many of those shots, especially as an athlete that hasn't really got any cash sponsors floating around. It becomes pretty tricky. And I'm surprised so many people are targeting these races and we're getting, race fields of 80 deep. Like, I don't understand what people are trying to get out of it. Like, there's plenty of other races on offer where surely prize money should be not the be all and end all, but like a big catalyst of why you're trying to be a pro. You're trying to make a living out of it. It's not a hobby project at the end of the day, is it?
Hold on. So, Guy.
Carry on.
I think he's literally talked about you. But you know what? You're in an interesting position because we've been talking about this. USAT recently changed their rules as to how you get your elite license and retain your elite license. But I don't actually put the reasons you race as a pro in the same bucket as what I do when I look at the North American circuit, because you're not putting your name on these pro start lists, pro Ironman series start lists, or are you? Because, I mean, it's literally those athletes that are finishing, and you'll know a few of them from your Boise days as well, and a few of the other guys that are banging around in North America at the moment who are racing as pros, but there's no chance of making any money, and those fields are just way too big. What do you reckon about that, Guy?
I think a lot of those guys, let's call them the second tier down of pro guys, are racing for they're quite good age groupers or very good age groupers, and they're racing for the experience, the pro life experience. So they're turning up to these races, a lot of these guys, and they're like, they don't have really any expectations. They're thinking, wow, if I can stay a lap ahead of Christian Blumenfeld on the run, this is going to be great.
Yeah. And
they're just going for an experience, and it's any Ironman they go to anywhere in the world is going to cost them. Yeah. So it's not about that for them. So why not do one of the biggest races in the world? Because this is what their Kona is like. They're going to never have that many good guys in one area. So they're probably turning up for, let's say, an experience of getting thrashed by really, really good pros. I mean, I don't want to do that, but
Yeah.
But if it's your Ironman, you come out of your off season and you want to have a crack, you want to race the Norwegians and some of the good guys. I mean, it seems like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, go ahead. But they might need to put a cap on the amount of pros racing even those Pro Series events, because it did look like pretty chaotic with 75 or what Jack say 80 guys starting that.
Yeah.
However, it's also pretty cool. It's like a WTCS start list or a World Triathlon start list. That swim was like chaotic to begin with, and that was kind of good.
Yeah, well, the women's field don't sort of balloon in the same number on the start lists as well, so they don't quite. I like the size of the women's field. If there's say 30 or maybe 40 on there at the pro Ironman series race, it sort of seems a little bit. It gives a more even sort of playing field for everyone to get out there and race their own races. I think it's in the men's events, and I think, Jack, you mentioned this about the Valencia race. I think there was something like 80 guys on the start list there, and it's when you don't get to be good enough to get one of these pro licenses if you're a shit swimmer. And then I think that's where the problems exist, because there's not much separation between, let's say, between the 30th and 40th swimmer and maybe the guys getting out of the water at the beginning, but the difference in their ability becomes quite obvious thereafter. And I'm just worried about that first 20 or 30 Ks on the bike, where it would be incredibly chaotic, drafting penalties, other infringements, just impeding forward progress of some of the better cyclists. Jack and I talked about this before. It would have happened in Valencia. I'm sure it's going to happen in Texas.
Yeah, I'd love to know if there was a race ranger unit for Valencia. I didn't actually look at any like Instagram bits or anything, but I looked at like an athlete like Will Draper, who came 37th out of the water, and he's a very quality cyclist. You imagine trying to have to overtake 36 guys trying to get up to the front of it. And it'll be no different for Sam Long, having to move through, and Lionel Sanders in Texas. Like, it is not easy to make forward progress, but in a half, it's so short. Like, the actual difference in ability, you can kind of fake that first 30K. Everyone's kind of at max anyway, so try and get through. It's pretty tough.
Or over max in some people's cases. Well, we talk about the guys that won and we're up there. It is the new face of iron distance racing, isn't it? I mean, Christian Blumenfeld's just doing stuff that no one can do, really, in terms of the frequency of his racing and the way he can back things up and how good he is across all three disciplines. It was nice to see Martin Van Riel put together a great race as well. You know, I think that was an important step forward for him. I think Vincent Louis was another, like, he was pretty
MVP.
I was questioning whether he was actually going to even make it in the middle and long distance racing. He had some T100s. I think he said in an interview afterwards, it was just nice to go to a race and be competitive rather than being at a T100 where Hayden Wild laps me. So his 2:34 marathon was pretty impressive as well. Any other standouts for you, Kate, in the men's race?
No, but I just know that they talked about, I think there were overall 5 like records that were broken on the weekend, and that's another reason why people go to Texas. Like, it's a fast course, and it's a fast course when you've got that many people racing and that many people racing in close proximity, and it always comes down to a running race virtually, because it's just so hard to get away on the bike. So we knew that would happen, and I think that's exactly what did happen on the day. So I don't think there were too many surprises, but there were also some great performances that happened, you know, beyond that top 3. We can look back and be like, oh, wow, this person actually did really well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you about the women then. I reckon the men have evolved the running. I think there's a handful of women that have evolved the running discipline in an Ironman marathon, but I just don't think that the number of women running have it made the same levels of improvements as the men. What do you think on that?
Not when you look at how many, you know, ran sub 3 on that Texas course on a cooler day. Like, they didn't have, you know, the heat and humidity that they normally have. there wasn't, a lot of them actually struggled. Was it to do with the surface you were talking about? Because I think Solvi talked about the same thing, and my quads are really quite sore. The cement here is harder than what I'm used to running on. So running wise, no, but I think cycling for females has been taken to the next level. That's been the biggest change recently.
Yeah, I think that's the case as well. I think they're all swimming pretty well. They are hammering the bike and putting in some incredible bike splits, but I think it's costing them as well. And there are some pretty talented runners there. You know, Jackie Herring, Grace Tech on her day, at Roth, she was pretty impressive in Roth, but again on a softer surface as well, wasn't it, at Roth?
Yeah, it's along the canal, and we lost Kat Matthews. And she spoke about how bad the roads were with stuff all over the ground, and there was a lot of flats and a lot of debris causing problems. We lost Lisa Perter. Didn't start. She would have been picked in my top 3 if she'd been racing. Yeah.
No, she's definitely a quality athlete. I think it's going to be interesting come Kona. Some people had struggles. We know our own Hannah Berry had, I think she said, some tightening in her back, but I'm not sure that was across the entire day. I just don't think she was feeling on for that particular race. And in the Pro Series now, you can't afford to have one bad result if you really are trying to chase the money, can you?
No, I mean, Kat's got some, Kat Matthews has got to decide if she wants to rejig her entire year now. And I mean, she's planned a busy year with Roth as well. So do you do another Ironman, or do you bank a 70.3 and take half the amount of points, knowing that you've already got some perfect scores? I mean, I looked at that tyre. I probably would have ridden it with the $1 note. I mean, it's a shame it's American money, because American money's not very good. Like, if it was a Sir Ed, like a crisp 5 NZ dollar bill, that thing, you would have ridden all winter on a $5 note from New Zealand. I know you.
I know you as well, and there's no way you would have given me $5.
Dirty rolled up 50.
But that's what happens on that tollway, though, isn't it? It's like there's debris and shit everywhere. You guys would know that. I mean, you must have gone to Texas. You never did Texas, though, have you?
Never done the Ironman there, but been to Texas for other events. But there were a lot of the athletes were saying it was worse than it has been in previous years. I'm not that sure if that's to do with some of the weather conditions they've had or anything like that, but they did say that it was worse. Kat said immediately after the race, when she was deciding between margaritas and some other cocktail, that she felt like she wasn't going to chase Pro Series. She was like, no, I really want to focus on Roth. Like, I've been looking forward to that. I want to have a great day there. And immediately right now, I'm not thinking about changing anything to chase that missed opportunity. But she might change her mind.
24 hours endurance amnesia.
Endurance amnesia, yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you this, guy, because you're a man that knows the business world of triathlon. What do you reckon the biggest stipend is that these marquee athletes are paid to turn up in Roth? What's a Laura Phillip or a Patrick Langer or a Laidlow or a Kat Matthews? What do you, just ballpark it, spitball it for me.
From their big sponsors, it'd be well into the hundreds. So back when I was running sponsorship for the swim brand Blue 70, we had a smaller budget, obviously, but I learned a lot about what other people were paid. And I know, so 2010 K-Swiss, the biggest salary was 110,000 USD.
Jesus, that what Kate was on. Holy.
Those aren't books behind you. Those are gold ingots, aren't they?
I heard you were on about 30, Guy. I heard you were on about 30, which you were more than happy with.
Now, I had just signed my biggest career contract in like the beginning of December for the next year, and 3 weeks later they were out. I lost the whole thing. Nothing.
Oh, the K-Swiss deal.
Yeah.
But you were on the gravy train for a few years, though, weren't you?
Yeah, a few years. Good bonuses.
Well, I'll let the public do the math on this, but our contracts were less than 10% of that. So mine was much less than 10%. Okay, it's not too much less than 10. However, the game's changed, and if we're looking at we'll call it the Fredino era, he must have been on $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 contracts, and I imagine like we're talking big brands here. But it wouldn't surprise me if someone was on like multiples of 250.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. So you're looking, if they've got multiple brands over, you know what, your Hayden Wilds, your Christian Blumenfelds, you
Yeah.
add that up and you
Yeah.
got $1 million athlete.
And so this is why Christian's factoring in Roth as a performance, and Felix is going to the FPOS machine as we speak to pay some of this. You know, when you facilitated that wetsuit for Jack not long ago, are we waiting for the cash that comes in?
Yes, you're just waiting. It's
Because
might be a
that's
Well,
why
you
I'm
have to
waiting
take-
you
Roth
anticipate.
this year.
One arm. You need one arm in the contract.
He's
He's happy
just
for
taped to the side.
Yeah.
he's happy for a sleepless one. Okay. Back to Texas, however. Blumenfeld's doing incredible things. It was a really awesome race to see. I just don't know who's going to touch him at the moment, because the other Norwegians, Gustav Edens, he's an enigma, isn't he? Gustav Eden's an enigma, man. Like, he is on, when he's on, but he just can't seem to be as on as the rest of them. Kasper Storner's, he seems to really pace the run very, very well, and he won't go outside his own limits, and he came through late in the piece there. But Gustav Eden's an interesting one there. He's just not on the ball, but by the time Kona rolls around, and I actually don't know, has he qualified for Kona? Jack, do you know?
Yeah. Gustav's qualified.
So he only has to validate.
Yeah. I'm not sure. He's qualified now, regardless. It rolled
Okay.
down to 11th or 10th, I think it was in the end. 10th place.
Okay.
Got a KQ. So, yeah, that must have mean 4 people had to validate. So, yeah, he must have just had to validate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so his performance as well is quite unbelievable. The rest of them up there were contenders from the start, so there's no real surprises. There were a lot of people who obviously got off the bike and you thought they could be in with a chance. One of your mates, Benito Bonanza, from the Team Bianchi team, he's normally a very handy runner, as you well know. Go back to Swansea. Ran you down like nobody's business. Great runner. But Cameron Main, he had a great race at Western Australia, your guys' hometown race last year. He put on a fabulous performance there. I actually had him as a bit of a dark horse. You guys would have seen him up close and personal. He won really well in Western Australia last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's been here training ever since. He stayed here all summer. Really loved it. Said he's going to come back and spend more time here for training. Yeah, so stayed here until Texas. But I'm not sure if he had a bit of an injury that he
Leading
just
in?
closer to. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has Guy been riding with him?
Guy has not been riding with him. But interesting to see the dynamic of Western Australia versus Texas, because West Oz, the first 100K, Nick Thompson was just on the front. And was it 12 metres then? It would have been 12 metres,
12.
right?
Yeah.
So, and he hadn't raced again, to my knowledge, from there to Texas. So I was interested to see how he would go over that 20-metre distance, because if Nick was on the front for, 100K of that ride, but he's so strong across the board. So obviously the flat roads of West Oz have done him some favours over the summer.
Yeah, but it didn't do Nick Thompson any favours. So let's talk about your hometown boy. And he did a lot of bike racing over the summer, didn't he? Wasn't he involved in like nationals? And so he is a strong young man on 2 wheels. And coming off his Nice performance last year, Jack knows him well. Jack towed him round in Lati at the World Champs for a couple of laps.
From behind.
On the run. On the run. He would be probably a bit disappointed with that. Maybe he needs a few hills, even though you're telling me Western Australia doesn't have any. Were you guys surprised with Nick's performance?
I think if you were to speak to him, he would say, look, it was probably where he's at with his preparation, because he has been doing a lot of cycling and he's been doing cycling events, and he's been in the Falcons team doing a series around Australia. So I think he would honestly say that his swimming and running has not been up to the level it needed to be to compete at his best at a Pro Series event. Would you agree with that, Guy?
Yeah, and there's probably a few tactical errors there. Like he came out 2 minutes down, but he's with Gustav, and then he finds himself on the front, bridging to that front group, and that must have taken a massive toll, because you can't just bridge to those guys that are already phenomenal riders.
Yeah.
And the Sam Longs and the Lionel Sanders that maybe you were thinking, oh, they'll come through and drag me up, they never did. So he's like had to do it on his own. And I feel like he paid the penalty in the last 30k of the bike and ran a 252, which, off a very, very solid bike, running a 252 is okay, but probably you're right, not up to his standard anyway. What he would expect
he
from
races
himself.
like that though, doesn't he? Nick, if he has any swim deficit, I've seen him make up some time gaps that you've got. I think he did it at Western Australia, didn't he? Was he down a bit out of the water at Western Australia, and then next minute he's like on the front within the first 30 or 40 Ks, and the swim deficit was, I'm thinking, like a couple of minutes at least, and then he sat on the front for. So do you think there might just be a little bit of, that's the way he likes to race, but maybe in time he'll realise he might want to spend his energy a little bit more wisely?
Yeah, I reckon once he works out the puzzle and does a little more swimming and a little more swimming and a little more consistent swim run, he'll be exceptionally good at triathlon. But he is currently exceptionally good at cycling, and he'll probably say, yeah, that's me. Yep, fair enough.
That's true. He's an enigma, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just like a lad. Are you that a thumbs up, Jack?
Oh, not yet. No, you haven't got one of those yet.
Oh, bummer.
Tex, what's your sort of overriding thoughts about the race? Who's going to be looking at that race now and thinking Kona's, I can't wait for it, and who's going to be thinking, oh shit, I don't know if I'm ever going to be competitive at the world champs and in Kona?
I think anyone in that top 11 will be very happy, and I think we probably need to mention that Brock Hull, the Canadian, who's come out of nowhere. I didn't know who he was, and I don't think many people, even the commentators, I don't think knew who he was, and he's been floating around the sport. I listened to an interview with him since he said 16, and he's been a professional at WTCS and short course and moved his way through the ranks, but this was his second go at an Ironman, and pretty well paced across the board. Like, he came back and ran through like 6 people, I think it was, in the last 10k. Like, he definitely played the patience game, and he would have watched the Kona spot run away from him and then charge back through them, which would be pretty tough for a young guy to go, I'm slipping away from a Kona spot, but I've just got to stay doing what I'm doing and not go chasing something. So that was pretty impressive to see, I thought. And then the rest of that sort of group, you saw Kieran Linders make a comeback, which I think was pretty emotional for him as well.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool across the board.
He's quality though, Linders. He's well performed in the past. He just had a bad 2025. He's a smart guy, and he's raced well in the past.
Yes, Guy, would you like to say something? Or
No, I was just saying that's like my 2025. I'm on the return cycle, so we'll look out.
I just thought you were buffering.
2026. I'm going to text Christian Blumenfeld now. Look out, bud.
I actually hope Christian doesn't lose for the rest of the year, so I can be one of the few people that have beaten him this year. And I can sit there. I might have got him on an off day, but if you look at our stats, I think I've actually got him like 2 out of 5 times.
It's not your job to provide them with Allen keys. Because he was actually, so he was screaming at the TV camera because he had a slow leaking flat. And this is something that I think has been speculated upon. Now that there's so much money floating around, well, for those that can get it, Do we need to be better prepared for the mechanicals that are happening out there on race courses, especially in Texas, where a lot of it was beyond the athlete's control, with ripped tires, with nails and everything else going in, and then you see the motorcycle mechanic turn up, and he's got a couple of Raleigh 20 front tires and a few other bits and bobs. Is it the athlete's responsibility? Are we going to go right back to, I think I saw Rebecca Keats actually post on this on someone's comment saying we should be responsible for looking after ourselves, but it's a different era of racing as such. It happens at the Tour de France. Someone gets a flat tyre, they're provided with a perfect replacement immediately. What do you reckon, Kate, from what you saw out there? Should the mechanics be closer to the front of the race where the people racing for this prize money, it really does matter?
Oh, I think there should definitely be a bike mechanic that's with the front of the pro race, like without a doubt. They should have two, one for the pro race, one for the age group, and then when the pros are off the bike, you've got two that are out there for the age group race. And it would be nice to see them to carry more, but there is only so much again that they can carry when people are riding. I don't know how many are riding smaller wheels now, or different equipment. They can't have everything. So there needs to be some form of ability to hopefully help out yourself. But I think that, like you said, like the Tour de France, we need to be able to support the professionals in the race.
Yeah. Well, in Kat Matthews' case, had something like that. It'd be interesting to see how much they are talking about this behind the scenes between her and Mark as to what could have been had there been some better support for because it does sound like that when the mechanic turned up, he was sort of at a bit of a loss as to what he could do to save her wheel, even attempting to put the inner tube into it as well. But I mean, she won't be the first athlete that suffered at the hands of a poorly timed mechanical a few years ago in Oceanside. Early in the season, same thing happened to Christian, and he just got off the bike and ran a 106, as you do. That's for the full 21Ks, Guy.
It's too soon, bud. It's too soon. I got post-traumatic stress disorder from January. I haven't recovered.
Anything else of note?
On that tyre, though. Don't you think, like the Tour de France, you get to race on the fastest tyres because your team car's mere moments away, and so you ride paper-thin tyres on purpose. Okay. We only get to race, 5 to 10 times a year, and we all reach for the fastest tyres that they use in the Tour de France or run them tubeless, hoping that they're going to hold. Comes back a little bit on the athlete. Maybe you sacrifice a bit of speed if you don't feel like you can go and race every other weekend, if you just want to ride something a little bit more robust. We saw it with Annie Haug when she raced on those prototype Schwalbes that are like made of paper. And there's lots of, I've been working in the bike industry almost 10 years now, and I can tell you which tires I wouldn't touch, as far as I could throw them, because they're so thin. Like, yes, they're fast, but I kind of know where I'm going to go, and we're out on open roads that aren't swept half the time. So maybe 1 or 2 watts for a slightly more puncture-proof tire is worth it if there's a lot of debris. You've always said it at the Mount. Don't ride the hard shoulder at the Mount because it's right after the New Year's and there's always broken bottles in the gutter. And I think
I've also said to Guy, don't ride 5 meters behind the guy in front of you, but he doesn't. He doesn't listen. But okay, I'll canvass you guys because you're more athletic than I am. You said this to me before, Tex, before New Zealand Ironman, that you won't go too risky with your tyre selection, and you don't go tubeless, do you?
No, I just run a latex tube because I'm happy to take whatever. I think it's most of those stat sites say it's hardly any penalty, but it's one extra layer of protection. I've never seen it in the bike store. I only see the bad tubeless. Like, you never come in someone going thumbs up, my tubeless went amazing. It's usually they're covered in hopefully sealant and going, this is a complete disaster,
I can't believe you just used the words latex and an extra layer of protection in the same conversation.
Guy was in the room and I thought I needed it.
Yep. But we'll run with that.
Contagious.
Guy, what do you run? What would you, you'd be going for super light.
No protection
counts.
Well, yes. I actually currently am running Continental TTs, tubeless, but because I'm super lazy, I actually have, for Tauranga, I ran one like that, and I ran the front with a TTSR, Continental SR with a TPU tube in it, because I'm like, I just can't be bothered making it tubeless. So my question is, TPU latex got to be about the same, right? Tex?
Yeah, the only what's the TPU? Yeah, it's more. Lots of people have those electronic inflators now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It melts them.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we had that problem.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, going around with the flaming wheel is going to get a fair amount of protection. Kate, I'm going to ask you, you were still racing. Okay, so you would have come from when tubeless wasn't even an option.
Tubular.
Glue.
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah, that would have been the old tubulars, wouldn't they? That would have been the glue-on ones.
Yeah, I was carrying like a massive spare tire on the back of my bike. It was
Yep.
so big. But
Yep.
then the one I had on my bike wheel, I couldn't have taken off with my hands. No way. So I used to carry a blade attached to my bike. So I could just slice off the old one and stick the new one on. CO2, good to go. So bad. So
I
bad.
was going to ask because I know that's an art. Like most people can't get them on and off anyway.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Joe Lawn one year sat on the side of the road in freezing conditions at New Zealand Ironman, just screaming at anyone that would come past because she couldn't get her tubulars off her tyres, because it was a messy thing to glue them on in the first instance as well. And yeah, you're right. Once they were on, they were certainly on. Where did you carry that knife? Was it like was it a machete?
Yeah.
Machete down the back, like
I was
samurai?
like Wonder Woman. So arrow.
Yeah, well, look. I mean, there's a lot of money floating around at the moment for those people that can win these races. I hate to think what Christian's bonuses will be at the moment, but he certainly, as his slow leak was happening, you could hear the stress in his voice because he's thinking, shit. This is my $1 million year disappearing in front of me. But he seemed to get his sorted relatively quickly. On the women's side of things, Solveig Losseth is going to be a threat at any of the major races. To outbike Taylor Knibb is one thing. She's really hit and miss in the swim, but once she gets on two wheels, as she did in Kona as well. I remember Hannah said to me when we were out training before New Zealand Ironman, we were on a ride, and she said when Solveig came up to the group in Kona, she thought she was putting in a big surge to get past everyone. I think Hannah might have been close to the front of the group at that stage. And as she rolled past, the surge didn't stop. She just kept going. she rode off into the distance. But to outride Taylor Knibb is, and I know Taylor rides strongly, as everyone knows, but she's got to be, if not as good as, maybe even slightly better over the full Ironman distance than Taylor on the bike. And would Kat have run quicker? Would Kat have been able to bike with her? What do you reckon, Kate?
I think Kat would have been able to run quicker. I think she would have gone out there and had the fastest run time. She's proved that over and over again and been able to do that. Would she have outbiked? Not sure about that one. I feel like those two would have been off the front still. Taylor and Solveig would have been off the front, but Kat would have been able to. She loves to chase. And she would have been able to do it. So I can understand the disappointment, but those three are just on another level. If you look at the results, I know it was a Pro Series race and we had fantastic women racing, but if you look at the gap from second onwards, it's a big gap for such a deep quality field of women. I think it was 20 minutes. Was it nearly 20 minutes?
Yeah.
To third place. Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 women, when fully fit, who are on just another level altogether. I'm going to say you add Laura Phillip to that, you add a Lucy Charles Barkley to that, you put Solveig, Kat. I would say, nah, I'm not going to say. There are some who are fantastic runners, but they're just not strong across all 3 disciplines. Who else would you add to that list that, just on their day, they're just going to finish these Pro Series races, and if none of those other girls at that level are there to race, they're going to win these things quite comfortably. Anyone else you'd add to that list?
No, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but it's really, you've got the Europeans, and we've got Taylor. Yeah, they're in a class of their own.
Yeah.
And then, after that, it's another battle, and it's a very exciting battle.
Oh, yeah.
It was great to watch Grace and Jackie had a fantastic race on the weekend.
Yeah.
Grace's first, Ironman after Roth, and she's come up and laid it down with some of the best in the world.
She's had a great start to this pro series, hasn't she? With her 2 half distance results, and she's showing in the half distance that she's biking really well at the moment, because that's always been the bit of the unknown for Grace. We've always known that she's a pretty strong swimmer, fantastic runner. But she's just seemed to elevate the biking, maybe not so much over the full distance when the heavy hitters are there, but she's sitting well up there in the Pro Ironman series. And I know she's giving that her big focus this year, which is a bit of a shame, because I thought she was excellent in Roth, and it would have been nice to see her back there, but you can't do everything. But she is one of the women that's in form this season, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, and like you said, she made a coaching change at the end of last year, and we've really seen that starting to pay off now, and you can see that. Yeah, so she's with Chris Hanrahan, PB3 Racing.
That's right.
Yeah, very strong influence on the bike, lots of hard biking, a lot more bike volume, and we're seeing that paying off for her in her racing.
Yeah, love a bit of bike volume, Tex? It's
all I can do. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
You've got that single wing swimming that you're actually making. I've got to find that guy from Xterra that beat you that time. He's due an interview on the podcast, I'm
he went
sure.
to the Olympics. Yeah, I'm going to find him. I'll find your picture.
He went to the Olympics, but not for swimming.
Have you seen they I actually don't know if it's... No, I'm not going to go on that tangent. That's right. I've got to keep it. It's got to be broadcast. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ironman South Africa. Jamie Riddle would have been going into this as one of the hot favours between him and Matthew Marquardt. Another pretty strong men's list. There's some pretty credentialed athletes. Peter Heimrich on there. Florian Angert, who a few years back was touted as going to be the next big thing, but since St. George world champs in the COVID era, where he was in the top 5, he's really sort of gone backwards. I think he's changed a coaching change recently, so he's actually, I'm pretty sure, going to be pretty happy to be up there. But Jamie Riddle walking the marathon, that's going to be a bit of a shock to the system there after he had a fantastic 2025. But Matthew Marquardt, do you know that dude? What did he win? 2 Pro Ironman series last year? Was it Placid and Cairns? He's just a solid athlete, and for a guy that's and I'll go to you on this, guy, not a natural runner. He's making his mark on the run as well. So he's gone under 240 and won by 13 minutes from Joe Skipper. But the guy is working full time as a medical researcher. Is it full time? And he does some
Very similar.
Oh, very similar. Yeah. But he does some crazy hour training, and he did Cape Epic mountain bike as part of his build into this season. So he's been on bloody cruise ships doing his training. He's up at Sparrow's Fart to get his workouts done before he goes off to his job. But he's proving that, I never thought he was going to become a runner of this kind of level, but he's proving very, very capable. And it would have been interesting where he would have matched up had he raced Texas with his skill set. So, he's only just started in the last couple of years making the inroads as what he's done and winning races, but he is going to be a factor in Kona, isn't he?
Yeah, you would think so. Kona, it depends. Like, you see him double leg cramping out of the swim. I'm like, he's losing minutes there.
Yeah.
And I'm just worried, obviously he's going to know this because he's a very analytical guy and seems to be a doctor, obviously, measures everything, knows everything about his body. But yeah, he didn't seem to cramp like that in South Africa. So maybe he's worked something out. So maybe this year he'll be a bit better,
Yeah,
even better at running, better in the heat, better at Kona. So,
yeah.
well, time will tell. But yeah, it was good to see him not cramp. Hopefully not cramp. I didn't see the live footage of him in T1, but that's typically where he's been getting it, which is super unusual coming out of the swim.
Yeah,
Usually you'd think 30k deep, that's where you're most susceptible to,
yeah.
sodium
You,
loss, but
you mean on the bike?
we're not talking about me now.
Well, look, I don't think he would have cramped. The reason I say that is when I was checking the splits, the swim deficit out of the water seemed to be about the same deficit after 20 and 30 Ks to Jamie Riddle on the bike. So I think he might have solved that problem because it was debilitating. And Ken's, was it last year? I can't remember. It was terrible. And then he just mowed through the field.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like he's walking and stopping, like stiff leg, straight leg walking. Pretty much my marathon, like how I look when I run the marathon. But yeah, I was like, well, this guy's out of it now. The game over. See you later. What do I know, right? He comes back and wins, which is it's crazy.
When you said that, all three of us nodded. What the fuck do you know?
Why is he still talking? Why have we got him on this podcast?
Just once.
Yeah. I did say this was a test run. I did say this was a test run.
After the hate mail, you'll probably get enough.
Hey, look, any publicity is good publicity. That's what but Matthew Marquardt won in a canter. He didn't even have to run sub 240 to do it. He would have been well ahead. Nice to see Joe Skipper back on a podium. I saw Joe saying he was really chuffed with his performance and he felt good all day. But it must be pretty sobering for someone like Joe, as it's probably for the likes of a Lionel Sanders and so forth, and looking where the top tier of that sport is. And we talked about the women before, Kate, where we said, there are some people who would be in the top 10 women in the world, but the top 5 of those are 15 minutes in front of you. And that's an interesting place to finish second in an Ironman. Whilst Joe's happy, it's like where to now for the likes of a Joe Skipper? What do you reckon, Tex?
Yeah, and I mean, Joe cost me a lot of money last year, so I'm a bit salty after he ran me down at Ironman New Zealand in the closing stages. But he's a character. He's one of those ones, it's kind of like Lionel. Like, Lionel has a lot of disappointment, and then when he's on, and he delivers this awesome result. But you need him in the sport. Like, everyone actually does love them, and it just creates a bit of personality in the sport. I think it'll be a pretty sad day when Joe exits the sport, He does bring a lot of personality and fun to it. So it was cool to see him I was tracking along as I was going to bed last night, the different splits, and I kind of thought, I think Joe was like 9 minutes back, maybe, I can't remember, it was like 80 or so, 90k, and I was like, he's not really making like the Joe inroads that needs to happen compared to what I think at the time Matt Burden and Ben Hill were doing, and I kind of pegged them all as a similar level of cyclists, and I was like, if they're all riding like this and Joe's riding like that, it's probably not going to happen for Joe. So I was pretty happy to wake up this morning and see Joe get second. You're right, 13 minutes back is a pretty big deficit. Like, it's enough time for the winner to go and have an interview and have a sausage or something while they wait. But podium,
Well, it happened in the women's race as well, though. Daisy Davis, she came off the back of Challenge Almere last year, winning that, which was a pretty impressive victory. She's on the Team Bianchi, which was BMC Pro Team that's changed its lead sponsor now, but she led from wire to wire, basically, didn't she, Kate? She was definitely very strong swimmer, very strong cyclist. The run wasn't, world class when we talk about, trying to get to that 3-hour marathon and below. But when you're winning by that much, sometimes people say you should just back off. I don't know if it's that easy to do. Once you get into your rhythm in the Ironman marathon, it's as hard to slow down as it is to try and speed up. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah. I think it's easy to say that because it does make sense. Like, why be hurting yourself even more, taking long to recover when you don't need to? But in your mind, you're like, I just need to get this over and done with as soon as possible. Like, the sooner I'm done, the sooner I can start to recover and move on. So it's that, the voices are going on in your head about which way you should go. The slowing down doesn't happen. But she's another one that's come from, short course into long course as well. And when you have those athletes coming up, they can all swim. There's no thing, when I won Ironman WA in 2010, I came out of the water in over an hour. You can't do that now.
Whoa. Keep that down. We've got you on the show for your profile.
Did an amputee beat you?
True. I mean, we've set a standard here and it's pretty low, so over an hour seems fine.
The sport has changed is what you're saying, isn't it, Kate?
I'm saying that I've used Guy for the last 15 years just to help me with my swimming. That's all it's
Absolute
been.
waste of time. Absolutely. Paul Newsom.
No.
Paul Newsom
Yes,
was
Paul
the person
Newsom.
that finally changed it for you. Guy, absolute waste of
Absolutely.
space. But you're right. You
Can't get away with that.
No, you could try that nowadays. I mean, I could easily do that quite comfortably over an hour for 3.8 Ks, but I ain't winning no Ironmans off it. But she is another athlete, you don't have to chase the Pro Ironman series to still make a career. I've maintained this, I think we are going to see some people filter out of those big races and just go back to what Joe's doing. There are a few other athletes out there. Tex and I talk about this as well. Whilst New Zealand became a Pro Ironman series race, there is money to be made and success to be had at what is just the old school approach to going and racing a 70.3 or an Ironman.
I mean, and that's what we did. This is how Guy and I lived out. There was no pro series, but we would race in Asia because it was just so easy for us from Perth to go, same time zone, so many races to choose from. The prize money might not be as big, but you had a better opportunity of making prize money, of making bonuses, of racing more often. And you're right, there'll be that next tier of athletes that will start picking more of those races now and being able to hopefully, make more of a living by doing that.
What do you mean next tier? In the bottom, this dude over here. He just saw an Olympic distance race pay out something like 9,000 yen or something like that, and he's thinking short course is the future.
I think it was non-drafting, so it's...
Yeah, well, you're thinking to yourself, if Javier Gomez can still get on the podium in third, there's got to be some money floating around at that race.
Oh, did he race?
Yeah.
He came out of retirement and raced. And got
well,
third. And I think he was just like, he would have had some shoes in the car and just jumped on his bike.
Yeah, but that's why we ended up inviting you guys to come on the show, because you've raced through Asia so much. Jack and I are like, how do you make your career through Asia? Next week on our podcast, I've interviewed Julie Duron, and she's based in China the entire time with the Tri-Sato squad. And she raced that Olympic distance race on the weekend that we're talking about. She won it. And then she's doing Challenge Taiwan, and she's staying in that part of the world. But there's plenty of money floating around in these non-branded races over in Asia, isn't it? It's time to come out of retirement, Kate. I reckon we're back.
I don't know.
No. Okay.
Look, I did have some wonderful races and experiences, and I wish that some of them were still around so that athletes now could go and do it and enjoy them. The ones that still have the carbo dinner before and the big celebration after, and the event organizers that come out and greet you, and a way smaller version of Roth. Let's just on the smaller scale.
Yeah. And you
much
can
more personalized.
You can still smoke in transition at most of those races as well, can't you?
Yes. It's actually compulsory. If you're not, you get thrown out of transition. Hey, where are your cigarettes? They're not Marlboros, though. You don't know what brand they are. It's just a packet that says something on it, and you're like,
brother will tell you.
You need to tell me any other Ironman event where halfway through you roll past the special needs location and it's a tent with a table and athletes are sitting there eating their noodles. You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was in Gunsan.
That's right.
Yeah, they actually have the hot pots out, and they start cooking a full-on lunch.
yeah.
We missed ours, guy.
Well, you're in with a good chance of finishing well up in your age group if you can get past not having to stop at one of the local takeaways on the race course.
There were guys smoking at that table while they're eating hot noodles. I remember thinking, how did you get your cigarettes dry here and a lighter? I was like, they must have already been there. They're
Well, your special
pre-planned.
needs bag.
Oh, yeah, true.
Special
True, of
needs
course,
bag.
of course.
Right, now on that note, any other anything that we've got forgotten to talk about from Ironman South Africa that was of note?
There was a lot of racing on. No, so much racing.
Yeah, there is so much racing. You know, we're getting these weekends. You guys are off, obviously, to the T100 in Singapore, which is going to be exciting. It's going to be. I'll ask you now. How do you think Matt Hauser's going to go at that distance? And yeah, do you think he's going to match up? So, Tex, what do you reckon?
Oh, Hayden's winning it. I just can't see, like, the bike. I mean, Hauser is so strong, but if it's a fair 20-meter rule, not a Noosa try 20-meter rule, like we're talking a legit 20-meter rule, Hayden's bike is on another level, and I don't think Hayden really backs down in the heat, whereas all the files you've seen from previous years, the guys are probably 5-10% slower, just with a power number, and you just don't see that from Hayden. Like last year, he was so aggressive on the bike, and he ran his own race. But yeah, it'd be cool to see Hayden challenged on the run, but I can't see Hayden losing.
Okay.
It's deceivingly a hard bike course. People don't realise because they go over those bridges. I mean, Guy's ridden it in a team multiple times, and he's seen people locals pushing their bikes up
it was Guy
during the race.
You're so happy. You're so happy.
You are right, okay. You are right. It is a lot. It is a challenging bike course, and it's got much more elevation than you realise. Yep. Okay, Guy, Hauser or Wild?
Wild. I'm pretty sure Wild for the same reasons that old Tex here just mentioned, and Kate. I think he's just going to be a little bit too good, and those hills are punchy and so steep. It's like 15 to 16% up those bridges. So I just think that will take a little bit too much of a toll, but hopefully he'll be close on the run and we can see an exciting battle.
Yeah, and Kate, there's more Australian. You've got to go Hauser.
I know I'm not. Look, my heart says one thing, but the data says another. And I mean, he's just got so much experience over that distance now, and Hauser's just obviously going to be new to it, and there's so much to learn, especially throwing yourself into those conditions over that distance. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. It's like it's that little bit shorter than the 70.3, obviously, but they just go full tilt, and they're just going at Olympic distance until they finish, aren't they? Really, it's just full noise. So it's something to look forward to.
On that though, the start list is so swim heavy that whether or not they can dispatch Hayden by a meaningful enough margin, you look at it, it's like he can swim, he's just next level swimming, he's a next level swimmer. So it'll be interesting to see if Hauser can do anything in a 28 degree bath. Actually make any.
Yeah, but this is the litmus test for Hayden. Like, if Hayden is truly going back to the Olympics, that swim needs to have made some progression from where it was, last time and the race before that. So, this is the litmus test. If he can't swim with those guys by now, it'll be interesting to see how his full WTCS season goes. But I don't know. You guys are going to be on the ground, so we'll wait to hear and we'll watch it all unfold.
Well, the rumour has it's like hotter than usual too. So even though it is on the equator, because we coach a bunch of locals up there, and they're all complaining, and they never complain the other months of the year. So gonna be brutal, I reckon.
Well, last time it was that hot, they were all trotting around at 4:30s. I mean, it was hilarious to see how slowly they were running on that day. So I don't know if it could change things. It could be reduced in terms of distance or conditions or something like that. If it becomes too hot, we'll wait and see. But look, thank you, team. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought that went a lot better. I was a lot more scared about how it could go. But thank you for your time. Travel safe, and I do hope to do this again with you sometime in the future.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.